Hi, Robbie.
What's up, Michael?
Oh, not too much. It's raining again.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
We just got record rainfall here in KC this weekend.
A record, huh?
Record as in more rain this weekend than all the previous weekends combined so far in 2017.
Wow. So you do a lot. Did you get out running a lot? Did you?
I've been going up and down the stairs, packing and transporting boxes. Yeah.
That's right, folks.
Priorities, man.
This is our last Kansas City to Nashville.
Yeah. It's our last KC live from Kansas City podcast. Next time it'll be, next time we might even be in the same room.
We might be floating in the pool.
Yes.
That would be outstanding.
Yes.
Speaking of pools, I got out to the lake today.
I saw that. How'd it go?
Yeah, not so good.
Not so good?
First open water of the year. I'm glad I got out there because
reality check.
Yeah, well, the wind was gusting. It was about a 20-mile-an-hour wind, and it was really showing. It was one of those winds on the lake where you kind of are just standing in the water, and it almost looks like it's raining because the wind is creating raindrops off the lake. So it was pretty awesome, but I wasn't really up to the task of crushing it. There were some people swimming out there. It was pretty chilly, but not awful cold. But it was my first time in a wetsuit, and I don't know, man. I'm glad I got out
First
there.
time in a wetsuit this year.
This year, yeah.
Yeah, not first time in a wetsuit.
First time in this wetsuit, though, because it's a new one.
Oh, that's right. New wetsuit.
Yeah, so I just tried to spend a lot of time in there. I was swimming. Like I was telling you, it was like 3 minutes 100 going up into the wind, and it was like 40 or 50 seconds going down. So, it was a legit rough water experience.
Sounds like it. I can't wait to experience it next Friday.
I know.
Pretty pumped, man.
Are you going to throw something together? You're just going to kind of go out there and sit on a table and look around and say, "Hey, this is sweet."
I think I may throw something together.
Yeah.
I honestly can't think of a better. I'm free that day, so I really can't think of a better way to spend my first Friday morning back in Nashville than at the lake with some open water swim.
Yeah. When I pulled in, they have the lady at the gate to check the thing, and I pulled out my pass. It's still good from last year, and she said, she's like, "What are you gonna? You just gonna go sit on the beach?" I go, "No, I think I'm gonna go swim." And she goes, "It's pretty rough out there." It's she kind of gave me that look, like,
"Oh man," trying to warn you.
Yeah, she was giving me that look, and of course I do, there's a lot of people around, but I am essentially swimming by myself when I do that, and there's that long, what do you call that, a boom or boom?
Yeah, boom.
It's like a metal pole or some kind of pole that floats, and I just swim along that, but in essence I am out there working out by myself, and it's just terrible conditions, and you talk about, having to motivate and, suck it up with nobody really out there to push you along, and I don't know. We're just. I thought that might be a little bit of a segue into this, the training alone and what that means and how that can benefit you.
Yeah, I think. I had. This will be. I'll apologize to our loyal listeners. This will definitely be one of our shorter podcasts, just from. I'm booked. I got to get this stuff back and get out of town. But it's important for me to stay consistent and make sure we get our podcast out and released on Monday. So try to keep my priorities and make time. And then, I had a few instances with some athletes this weekend. One in a race and one on a training run, and then they both and we're in race season, and we're around the same time. We're either racing this weekend or next weekend, or you're about to hit some of your key workouts. And I'm a guy that likes to train alone. It's just kind of who I am. I don't mind training in groups. I like that atmosphere, but just generally from a time constraint standpoint, it's usually better for me to find my own time and just get it done than wait for other people. And there are benefits to both, but generally from a group aspect, there's either going to be somebody too fast for you or too slow for you. And just the quick topic I wanted to cover today was how to avoid getting caught up in the hype of the race energy. Whether it's a short race or a long race, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the atmosphere and the energy, and then also if it's like, especially in like the local race scene, it's so hard to not get caught up in like who all's there and beating so and so and the energy and going out way too fast. And that's generally what I wanted to make this quick podcast about, is the benefit of the negative split, which is something everybody really tries or wants to do, but generally usually fails at, because they all go out too fast. And I had an athlete Saturday who his specific goal was to go out and negative split this half marathon, and it didn't work out. And he admitted it. He got caught up in the hype and went out too fast. And then I had an athlete earlier this morning on Sunday who's in one of her last few key weekends for Chattanooga 70.3, and I had a 2 hour and 15-minute workout prescribed, which I call it's called descending 15s. And you basically descend every 15 minutes for the whole duration. And she started out way too fast because she was running with a group of friends that their purpose for the day was to run faster, and she ended up bonking and only making it about an hour and 40 minutes. And this is something that you just see it's so common. It's common in training. It's common in racing, whether it's keeping up with the Joneses on Garmin Connect or Strava or Training Peaks or Facebook with people in their workouts, or it's at a local race or even a bigger race and you're caught up in who's there in the energy, and you end up blowing your race based on somebody else in the energy. And so I thought a good topic for us to quickly cover today were just some ways that you can adapt and kind of take control of your race season to maybe save some races before you end up blowing up and starting out way too fast and end up sacrificing the rest of your race.
Yeah. It does happen, and it's real easy for it to happen even when you're telling yourself 2 seconds before the gun goes off. I mean, that's one thing I fight a lot in a way, because other than the fact that I'm so resigned to do that, to try to start slow, especially in the water, but training alone a lot, I have talked about this many times, that I bank on that race energy. And that's why I think it's even more important to force yourself to start slow, because that energy is going to be, blow your way. It's going to kind of carry you so many ways that you don't even realize. I mean, there's just something about seeing somebody in another bib running alongside of you or riding alongside of you that just kind of carries you. I mean, I think it gives you that extra energy. So you have to be overly cautious, especially when you're starting each discipline or in the training rounds, I suppose, with people.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and I've done it before, and I was reflecting on it earlier. It's like, trying to think of some races where I've executed perfectly, and it's no coincidence that the races that I've quote unquote executed perfectly and raced really well is where I showed restraint and patience on the bike in the first part of the run. And if it was that, and then another one is a marathon that I ran, the country music marathon, like 3 or 4 years ago, where I'd had a huge negative split, I'm talking like a 149 first half and a 133 second half. And then that was a little more an exaggerated case, just strictly because I didn't know what kind of fitness I had, because I was coming off an injury. But most would say, "Oh, you can't negative split, or you can't do this," and it's definitely hard. But a lot of it you can do and prepare yourself the weeks and the months before you get to race day, and then it comes with executing and choosing to go out and do some key workouts alone, and it comes with that experience, and it comes with failing. It's finding a pace that you think you can negative split, and then realizing that maybe you can. But you will rarely ever hear somebody after a race say this phrase: "Yeah, man, I was real patient on the bike, and I just started out too slow. I could have done at least 20 minutes better." You always hear, "Man, I pushed it too hard on the bike, and I started way too fast on the run, and I ended up walking, or I ended up just really bonking the last 5 miles, or whatever it is." You always hear that.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with the benefits of the negative split, and I'm not exactly sure why it's so much better, but it is. I mean, is it just simply letting blood get into your muscles a little slower instead of crashing them?
Well, it's usually it's more so based on the cumulative time that you can gain and will gain versus the time you may or may not lose or gain in the first part of the run. So if you're churning out 8-minute miles and that's too fast for you at the first part of your run, versus a conservative 9-minute mile. For the first 6 miles, you may lose 1 minute per mile. You're looking at 6 minutes. Well, on the back end, if you blow up, when people blow up, it's never a minute difference. It's always, I just went from averaging 8s to averaging 10s. And so what you're looking at is you're not only looking at taking back that 6 minutes you gain, but you're looking about doubling it and adding an extra 6. So and from a racing standpoint as well, the effort you put in towards the end, you want your freshest effort to be when others are fading.
Yeah.
So in a competition standpoint, if you're running 8-minute miles for the first half, and we're in the same age group, and I'm averaging 9s, and then you blow up and you start averaging 10s, but I negative split and start running 8s, well, now we're at a whole different ballgame, and I just gained 6 to 8 minutes back on you versus the 6 you just gained. So it's really about smart energy, how you want to spend your energy and where and how, versus it's really taking advantage of people's weak points, which is patience. Because let's be honest, if you're doing especially a half Ironman, because that's when you really start to see the benefit of the fast run. They say it all the time. You bike for show, run for dough. And if anytime you get past on the bike, it's hard enough to let your ego get a hold of you. But a good mind is just say, listen, I'm choosing to be patient on the bike. I would rather negative split the run and think that I may or may not have been able to bike faster, instead of biking as fast as I can and then coming up excuses when the race is over that I coulda, woulda, shoulda if I had just held on.
Yeah.
Because it's if you're gonna run a 10-minute pace and a 7-minute pace, what part of the race would you rather run it?
Right.
Across the finish line for the 10-minute, or the 7-minute across the finish line? And it just comes with a conscious decision to race smart and to race your own race, and a lot of confidence and a lot of faith that you can do it. And it's just hard, because we're most people are type A athletes, and you're trying to win, and it never feels good, no matter what part of the race it is, when somebody passes you. And this is something that took me a long time to learn as a great swimmer, because really the only thing left for me to get done is get passed. So if I, for an Ironman, if I come out of the water in the top 50, well, I've got 2,500 people left that could pass me, versus just the 50 people ahead of me that I can now pass.
Yeah. So
it was a struggle for me a lot to rein it in on the bike. But until I got this mentality of like, you know what, I'm going to bike smart because I'm going to run like hell, and I would rather pass you on the run than pass you on the bike. And it just, like I said, it comes with experience. It's not something that's easy to do, but you can do it if you practice it and you commit to that mindset, and you commit to that mindset in practice and doing things alone, and being okay with Mike doing his own run and then me doing my own. Like, go ahead and go out and do your own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing today. And you've always been really good at that as well. I mean, I know, speaking of open water swims, we'd have a tough workout, and you're like, you would usually show up late, so it's kind of what had to happen. But you're like, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of do my own thing today, and so you have to be comfortable committing to, I know what it's gonna take for me to perform my best 3 months from now, and if it feels like you're sacrificing your daily win against your battle with, Joe Schmo, then that's something you have to be willing to just kind of accept if you're really dedicated and committed to the big picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of times when I go out on workouts. I mean, and we should say that you're not training planning me right now, but I still consider you my coach for many, many reasons. It's just that my workouts, you've kind of ballparked me some good ideas, and that's where I'm taking it right now. And there's a lot of times when I don't know exactly what my workout's going to be when I start off on it. And I'm not saying that I endorse that for everybody, but one of the reasons I think I do that is because I just feel like, as I'm a little bit older in my age, and I'm not like the perfect dietitian, and there's a lot of reasons that for certain days I don't feel as good as others, and I don't know why that is, but a lot of times I will go out and do that sort of slow warm up and just kind of feel what's coming on, and then as I understand how my body feels and what I think I might be capable of, I sort of put that workout into place. So that's one way I sort of practice. Starting slow, regardless of what the exercise is. I always kind of put that into place and let my body. And I think that's a lot of it too. Is it's if you start out too fast, you can't readjust. It's like if you start out too slow in the beginning for yourself, maybe you're like, well, I got a little bit more. You can kind of keep creeping it up, and that makes a lot more sense to me than trying to scramble and hold on at the end. Remember,
totally.
When we had, remember we used to watch our buddy Will Emery. One time we were looking at, he just crushed Ironman Louisville in the heat that one time. I think he was top 10 or whatever. And I was looking at his splits, and his first 3-mile split was 9:30 pace on the run.
Yep.
And I think every split after that was like 7:30. Right on that number.
Yep.
So I mean, think about a guy that's that fast being able to have the patience to run 9:30s for the first 3 miles in an Ironman. I mean, I just thought that was a great example of.
Oh, it is. It's really, and you kind of framed it well for me. It's when you get to the run, it's, do I want to be on the offensive or the defensive?
Mm-hmm.
And if you start off going really fast, you're immediately on the defensive because you feel like you have to hold on to that pace. And then once you see it wane and slow down because you won't be able to sustain it, then you become just like ridiculously on the defensive. Like you find ways to walk, or you find ways to kind of doubt yourself, and you start guessing, and you see your time slow and slow and slow, versus starting off slower than you would even like to start, and then knowing that you're about to go on the offensive because you saved something in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get to the point in that run, miles 4 and 5, you're like, here I go. I'm about ready to go on the offensive. And you start picking people off right and left and right and left. That feeling alone is enough to carry you to the finish line versus seeing your pace slowly gets, slower to maybe even a walking an aid station or, walking a mile. So it's that patient mentality of, I'm going to pick you off, but I'm not going to do it until it matters, which is the end. Which is the last 6 miles of the race or the last 6 miles of the marathon at an Ironman. It's just it's having that, and it's a conversation you have to have with yourself. It's something that you need to commit to, and I'd love to hear you via email or in our Crushing Iron closed Facebook group, like some great negative split stories, and like how many people you were able to pass the second half versus races where you went out too fast and then what happened on the back half.
Mm-hmm.
Because there really is. There is no better feeling. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday when I did the country music marathon and did that negative split. I didn't get past once, and that feeling of just racing so fast past people that were like suffering, that was like all the inspiration and all the motivation I needed to fuel me to get to the finish line and hold that pace. Because I remember even, I don't know, I think Allie and then maybe even you were like, they were worried because it took them so long to find me, because like, oh, he's way behind schedule, and then I ended up actually doing really well. And I've done that in a couple races as well. Augusta 70.3 3 or 4 years ago. So it's definitely it's hit or miss, but it's something that I would encourage anybody listening to hey, use that C race, use that B race as a, not as just kicking off the rust, but trying to get back and see what kind of rehearsal you can get and see what kind of benefits you can get for when it's really, really going to matter.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point earlier about your swimming too, because in my case, I almost naturally split the whole triathlons a lot of times in a way where I'll come out of the water maybe like half of my age group, and then I'll be in the top third off the bike usually, and then if I run well, I usually end up in the top quarter or something like that. So, but you have to come out of the water in the front, and then you have to exercise your extreme patience to let people go by you early in the race. And I think it applies to the whole race as well as different sections of the race, and that's just kind of interesting. In fact, it's really difficult, obviously, to tell if you negative split a swim, but I think that even goes underestimated a lot of times.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's another. I mean, you can a lot of times depending on the course, but it's a confidence booster, and it's more of a feel. Like I want to finish strong, and you don't really need to see the clock. You just need to know how you feel.
Yeah.
But you can actually pick it up those last 300 and feel good about it. I mean, I can't think of a better way to start off your bike is to know that those last 400 you were able to pick up the pace instead of hyperventilating and needing to swim on your back.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I have to exercise that patience for me coming out of the water with a swim, but for most people, I actually think it's harder because you're coming out with so many people at the same time. It's straight competition mode. And so people are passing, you're in the race immediately, whereas a lot of times, if I swim really well, I'm ahead of the race with a couple people and things are kind of distanced, between us. It's just, but when you come out in the middle or the back or even somewhat close to the front, you're in the thrall of the race. And at that point, it is really, really easy to get caught up, especially on the bike.
Yeah.
And then, so it's, it's like I said, it's something that you should practice, negative splitting or on the bike, making the last 6 miles your hardest instead of your slowest, which is something that most people aren't disciplined enough to do. And so, I'd really encourage everyone to use that as a focus and just see what kind of success the negative split will bring to either your open, an open running race or cycling race or your triathlons and see what happens. And it's something I still, even though I'm not doing triathlons this year, that I have to focus on a ton is in trail running. If you can negative split, you're going to do just incredibly well because if you save a minute in the first half of a race, but you can gain 3 minutes per mile in your competition at the later part of the race, then it's not even going to be close, And so it's a whole different level of patience and execution. I'm starting to kind of try and learn and adapt to, and then ultimately, hopefully, execute.
Sounds good to me. Hey, before we wrap this up, can I go into the Nashville Marathon just a little bit here?
Yeah, you can.
Well, I mean, I have a couple things. Obviously I went out there and I went down to mile 23 and I saw the leader come by, Scott Witeka, who has won now his 5th straight Nashville Marathon.
Man.
And what is there, 40,000 people in that thing or something? 40,000?
No, there used to be, not anymore.
Oh, okay. And anyway, he won
It's a huge race, though. I mean, it's a pretty big race. It's a rock and roll race. So
yeah. He won by 16 minutes with a 2:40. And I got to think, I mean, that's not a very good look, I don't think, personally. Because I remember that race when they had the Kenyans and all the pros were here.
It used to be a prize purse.
Yeah. And now it's like 30, they make, I don't know, Nashville makes $35 million or something off of this race. And, who knows how much rock and roll makes. But, I mean, even if rock and roll doesn't want to step up and pay pros for this, why in the world would Nashville not want to do that? just chip in a 20 grand or something. And, you make 35 million, and you could really almost, not almost, but legitimize this race again, because, I just think that's kind of weak. The guy wins it in 240, and he wins by 16 minutes.
It's super weak.
Don't you think?
You know what? I'm going to put that at number 2 on my agenda when I get back.
Get the Kenyans back?
Yeah, that's number 2 on my agenda. The first one is obviously get the riff-raff away from the lab.
Oh yeah, right where we ride. Good luck with that, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I mean, it is. I think one way we can do it is we can just start putting signs out there. I was thinking about doing that, just like putting our rules up on signs and kind of putting them there, like bikes go this way, walkers stay inside. We could do that, and then if that doesn't work, I'll just put out like a repaving, asphalt compromise through September 1. Yeah, please
see what happens. Yeah,
walk at your own risk.
Route. Yeah, and never come back.
Fly kites at your own risk.
Seriously, yeah. All drones are not allowed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think that's good though. The negative split, that's a good reminder for me. I need to think about that a lot more as well. Let's get you to moving, and you're driving tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Start the first half tomorrow afternoon. Ali's got to work for a little bit. I'll be doing some packing and loading in the morning, and then we'll do the first half. Try to get a little, maybe an hour east of St. Louis is the goal, and then finish up and get into Nashville on Tuesday around noon. Then we got a big dinner planned with my entire family Tuesday night. So we haven't been home in a year. So it's been a long time since I've seen a lot of them and my nephews and uncle and aunt and everything. And so we really miss them. And a lot of them haven't even seen Hayden or met him. So it'll be pretty awesome. We're really looking forward to getting back and looking forward to connecting with a lot of old friends and athletes and everything. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, we're all excited too, man. It's going to be great to have you back here. And
yeah.
All right, man. Well, get to it. Get on the road, and we're here waiting, and hopefully the rain will get out of your way. And
it's clearing up, man. It's parting its ways.
And Friday we may have a little short podcast live from the lake.
Yeah, we might, and please do.
That would be a bonus, by the way.
That would be a bonus cast for sure. Keep the emails and the iTunes reviews coming. Those are really important for us. We'd love to get your feedback. And as usual, please like our Crushing Iron Facebook page. And if you want to get into some more discussion about Crushing Iron Triathlon in the community, feel free to reach out and join our Crushing Iron closed Facebook group.
Right on. Okay. Happy training. Happy travel.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
See you, dude.